It is a terrible feeling of loss right now, but it is premature. I think the Indonesian authorities are doing their best now for the search and rescue. We don't want to speculate anymore, but there's a deep sense of depression here. But we'll stay strong, and our first priority now is to look after the families. Our captain was a very experienced captain. He had flown over 20,000 hours and approaching 7,000 hours with AirAsia on type A320.
Nah, maksudnya siap-siap gambar di sana.
Baik, yang kita lihat saat ini pemirsa adalah Tony Fernandes yang merupakan CEO dari AirAsia. Kita masih menantikan sambungan audio untuk melakukan konferensi pers.
Been very open. We've got to know each other quite well, and they are very strong as well, I have to say. They are very calm now and waiting for as much information and appreciating all that's been done so far. You know, it's an experience I never dreamt of happening, and it's probably an airline CEO's worst nightmare. After 13 years of flying millions of people, it is the worst feeling one could have. But we stay strong for the families out there to ensure that we can look after them. Even after this incident, we want to keep in contact with them so we can provide the necessary support that they may require after the incident.
Mr. Fernandes, what did Joko Widodo say to you in your conversations tonight?
We talked about really the most important part was the evacuation and bringing that to a conclusion as quickly as possible. He informed me that he's asked for as many of the assets to go over to the site. At the moment there was 3 ships, and he's asked for all the ships in the area to go there and do this as quickly as possible.
Has he suggested that there will be any investigation or any ramifications for AirAsia in Indonesia?
No. I mean, it's too early and too speculative. What we're beginning to see is that there were some very unique weather conditions.
But now we can talk about the insurance.
And let's wait for the investigation to be concluded.
How about the insurance?
The plans for AirAsia now is to ensure that we work with Basarnas and all the regulators to ensure that we bring a speedy conclusion for the families, and that we continue supporting the families through this so that they can have a less painful. It will not change anything. It's a horrible, horrible experience, but we will try to do our best. That's our focus right now. It's really out of my hand, but I think we've been informed by Basarnas that they're going to work very quickly, as possible. There's so many parameters like weather that leads to this, but we would hope that maybe by tomorrow we can finish the evacuation if weather is good, etc. No, I really, it is way too early to speculate. It is not my position to do that. Let's recover the black box. Let's recover everything. let the proper experts do the investigation. It is improper and incorrect for me to make any speculation as to what went wrong. The families, we, based on the advice of all the regulators, is really to stay in Surabaya and let the SAR team focus on doing their job as quickly as possible so that we can bring a conclusion to the...
Do you have full confidence in your fleet in Indonesia and your crew in Indonesia?
I have full confidence in my fleet and crew. As I said, our pilot was extremely experienced, 20,000 hours. He was he came from the Air Force, he was one of their best graduates. He came from Surabaya, so he knows the area very well. All our aircraft are the same type, the A320, which is a well-known aircraft. So I continue to have full faith in our operation in Indonesia and elsewhere. No, I obviously have flown over it, but at a very high height in coming to Surabaya from the various places that I've been traversing, trying to meet as many of my staff. But tomorrow I hope, with the permission of the authorities, to go to the site with some of my key staff. Yes, there will be. Obviously, I do not want to talk about it just yet because we have to get a full report on the investigation, but we are prepared and we will not be running away from any of our obligations.
Are you considering
very seriously?
Are you considering slowing down expansion in light of this until you?
It's a tough question for me to because you don't know what went wrong, you don't know, etc. We will continue our business as normal. Our operations has run normal. Our sales numbers have remained strong. The amazing support I've received from the people of Indonesia and Southeast Asia and around the world has really been one of the bright spots that people remain very confident of AirAsia, and we will continue as planned. I apologize profusely for what they're going through. I am the leader of this company and I have to take responsibility. That is why I'm here. I'm not running away from my obligations. Even though we don't know what's wrong, the passengers are on my aircraft and I have to take responsibility for that. And I have tried to be as honest as I can, as open as I can as to what I know. And many of them have given us suggestions and they continue, many of them say they will continue to fly on AirAsia, and they have been an amazing group, to be honest. They've been very appreciative of what we've done. And what is words cannot express what they're going through. But I've tried and talked to each and every one of them. Obviously my bahasa is not very good, but I have tried my best to as I mentioned just now, he talked to me about bringing more assets to making sure we look after the people there. He's an amazing president who really spends time with his people. It's his main concern. And we talked about and what could have gone wrong, which I would rather not repeat at the moment. But his main focus was to try and finish the evacuation as quick as possible.
Compensation?
Yes, ma'am. Of course there will be, but we will wait for the investigation. AirAsia will advance in, even though the results haven't come out, we will be providing some financial assistance straight away. I'd rather not mention that now until we finish with over the next 1 or 2 days, but there will be, and we will not run away from any of our obligations or hide behind any conventions. We will be there for the staff, even after all, for the families, even after all of this is over. I'm sorry?
Are you relieved that the plane was found at least relatively quickly?
It doesn't change anything. The only slight benefit is that for the people in there is some closure. This is a scar with me for the rest of my life. It doesn't change anything. But very little percent, there is at least some closure as opposed to not knowing what's happened and holding out hope, etc. At least it brings an end to it. And we thank the Indonesian government and the rescue team in finding the plane quickly and trying to evacuate everything as quickly as possible. And then we moved to finding out what went wrong on that tragic day.
Is the assumption, sir, that there are now notified?
Went wrong. All I can say is that the weather in Southeast Asia is bad at the moment. And, the floods in Malaysia, the floods in Thailand, there's a lot of rain. So that is something that we have to look at more carefully because the weather is changing. The weather is changing. No, not yet, not yet. It's way too early. Please, we have to now focus on the evacuation. We have to focus on looking after the people there. But rest assured, once we have all the information and there are things we need to change, then we will change it. But it's too premature to say that right now. I don't want to speculate. Sorry, no, I haven't, apart from while we're traversing it at 40,000 feet. But I hope tomorrow morning I will go with some of my team members. No, we think that based on the advice of Basarnas, that really, which I agree with fully, let's focus on getting the evacuation out. If we have a lot of families over there, it's going to complicate for the Basarnas guys to finish off the evacuation. So the key now is to get everyone back to Surabaya. No, but I am confident because Basarnas is very confident that they know